Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to review the Shinhan Touch Twin brush markers. These are alcohol-based markers made by Shinhan Art from Korea, and this particular box set that I have has pastel colors. The markers can be bought individually or you can buy them in sets. There is a total of 204 colors in the Shinhan Touch Twin marker series. One thing to note about the Shinhan Touch Twin marker is there are two types. One comes with the white body, which is the one that I'm reviewing today. The other comes with the black body. So the white body marker is actually called the Shinhan Touch Twin brush marker. The one with the black body is the Shinhan Touch Twin marker. So the difference is the tip. Both have chisel tip, but for the brush marker, it has the brush tip, whereas for the normal standard marker, the one with the black body, that has a bullet point fine tip. Depending on the type of art you create, you can choose either the brush tip or the one with the fine point bullet tip. If you buy the markers individually, each one can range from $4 to $8 US. $8 for a single marker, in my opinion, is quite expensive. If you buy the markers in set, each one will work out to be around $4 to $5 US. So this is how the marker design looks. There are 4 flat surfaces, so you can put them on the table and they won't roll around that easily. There are 2 caps, one for each tip. The caps cannot be posted behind. This is the medium broad chisel tip. The label is there. The ink is alcohol based. The company says there is no odor, but alcohol-based markers will have odor. And on the other end, we have the brush tip. Now the tips can be replaced if they are worn out. The markers can also be refilled with ink refills that are sold separately. That's the color code for the marker. The color code is also available at the top of the cap together with the name of the color. Just for comparison purposes, here I have the Copic Chow marker, which also comes with the brush and chisel tip. Let me remove the caps to show you the difference in the size of the markers. So you can see the Copic Chow, it has a smaller body. I also have the Copic Sketch marker. Let me remove the cap as well. The Copic Sketch marker is larger compared to the Copic Chow, but this body, you can see it's still smaller compared to the Shinhan Touch marker. So the Shinhan Touch definitely holds more ink. Copic has 358 colors in total, whereas Shinhan Touch has 204 colors. And now I'm going to use the markers to color these 3 sketches, which were drawn with different inks. This was drawn with this fine liner, the Uni Pin, which has pigmented waterproof ink. This second sketch was drawn with the Pentel Tradio Stylo. The ink is not waterproof, so this is water-soluble ink, and here this is sketch ink, which is waterproof fountain pen ink. So let's see how the alcohol-based markers will perform on the line art. Alright, the first thing I want to do is to test the markers to see how they blend. So this is the pastel green. This paper that I'm using, this is Bristol paper. Usually markers, they perform better on marker paper, which has certain coating to prevent the alcohol-based ink from soaking through the paper, from bleeding through the paper. So this paper, this Bristol paper actually is quite absorbent. So we can see the colors, they can overlay quite nicely. So let's have yellow over blue. So the colors I have in my set are all the pastel colors, and the colors, they overlay quite nicely. You can still see the individual strokes though. And this is how it looks on the back of this 180 GSM Bristol paper. And now let's color this. I'm going to use the brush tip. There is still some alcohol smell, but it's very faint. It's very difficult to detect that unless you are looking out for it. So the marker works well over this pigmented ink. Now this paper definitely soaks ink quite easily. It absorbs the ink very easily. And here when I color it like this, I don't see the individual strokes. So I can paint over the line and you can see the ink is waterproof and it's also alcohol proof. The brush tip allows me to paint those smaller areas easily. The chisel tip allows me to cover larger areas more easily. So here you can see some ink smudges. That's because the ink is not completely dry yet. Since I don't have grays or black in my set, I'm going to use Copic markers instead. Now the performance with Copic markers versus Shinhan markers, I would say they are pretty similar. When it comes to deciding which marker to buy, I would say choose based on your budget. Choose based on how easy it is to find the ink refills or replacement markers in your area. So between Copic and Shinhan, I will get the one that is cheaper. And don't forget, you may need to buy replacement tips if your tip gets worn out, if you want to have your markers last longer. For quick sketching, markers work really well, but marker inks are not light fast. So if you expose the colors to light for long periods of time, the colors will actually fade. That's the downside to using markers. But they are great for quick sketching like this. And now let's make this vehicle green by overlaying this blue on top of the yellow. You can just use the green marker straight away, but if you actually have the colors overlay, sometimes you can get a more interesting look. So if I paint with the chisel tip like this, I can see the individual strokes very obviously. And now let's color this with a green marker. So if you don't blend the colors, if you don't overlay the colors will be cleaner. The tip is actually quite firm. Is this really water soluble? Yep, it is water soluble. So the alcohol marker works really nicely even on water soluble ink. Next, let's paint this Jeep with this color called Pastel Pink. So I'm using the side of the marker to color this, and the ink flow is quite good. I mean, usually for markers, ink flow is always good until they run out of ink. I don't use markers that often. My main media is watercolor because it's easier to mix colors with watercolor, and you don't need to have so many colors. You just need 3 primary colors with watercolor and you can get a lot of colors just by mixing them. But with markers, if you need very specific colors, you have to buy the specific color for each one, so it can get expensive very quickly, which is why I switched to using watercolors. But I do enjoy using markers because they allow you to work like really quickly. My coloring style is not very precise. Another thing about marker is, for example, with this gray, if I want to make this really dark like black, I am not going to be able to do that just by overlaying this again and again, because this is dark gray. This is not black. I can't just keep on adding ink over this to make this black. This is how black really looks like. So if I need gray and black, I will have to buy 2 markers. With watercolor, you can just dilute the black to get gray. So the Shinhan Touch Twin brush markers, they perform really well, and this review should apply to the Touch Twin marker, the non-brush version as well, the one with the black body. The inks, they look vibrant on this paper. The inks probably will look even better on proper marker paper. So these are alcohol-based markers. You can expect the ink to bleed through, so these are not that great for using in sketchbooks. If you use it in sketchbooks, you can only use on one page, and you have to put a piece of paper behind the page to protect the other page. In terms of value for money, it really depends on the price of the marker. At the time of this review, one color on Dick Blick is $7.5 US, which to me is quite expensive. On Jackson's Art, it's about $4 to $5 US, which is significantly cheaper than what you can find on Dick Blick. So that pricing from Jackson's Art, it's more reasonable. So in terms of value for money, I would say it's still quite value for money, but not if it's too expensive. If you guys are interested to get the markers, you can buy them through the affiliate links that I have for you in the video description below. I earn some commission for each sale that goes through those links, but at no extra cost to you. This set of markers was bought with my own money. Alright, thanks for watching this review. I hope it's helpful. See you guys in the next video. Bye.